Now the idea will be down the road. All roads go through Detroit.
So I know I did a Detroit Lions video about 5 days ago, but it already feels like that video got outdated. I mean, obviously with the signing of cornerback safety CJ Gardner Johnson on Sunday night, I kind of feel like it was unexpected. Really, none of us thought it was going to happen, especially this late in free agency. It's something many of us potentially saw in the beginning of free agency, but with the signings of Emmanuel Mosley and Cam Sutton, personally, I didn't really expect them to get anybody else. But like I said in my YouTube short, Brad Holmes is absolutely killing this offseason. And as Jamison Williams said,
I'll be trying to be no Detroit Lions fans next 2023, bro. I'm trying to join the bandwagon.
And I gotta say, boys and girls, hearing a player say that just has the koolaid dripping and flowing, man. What really excites me about the whole CJ Gardner Johnson thing is you signed a premier top shelf guy for $8 million on a 1-year deal with $6.5 million guaranteed. That is pretty cheap for him, considering the fact that he statistically had one of his better seasons last year, tying first for interception rate, and the fact that he can play anywhere for you in a pinch. I think primarily with the Lions, he's going to be playing the slot corner ahead of Will Harris. I know I was seeing on Twitter and a bunch of other places that people were getting pissed that they brought Will Harris back. He's not going to be your starting guy. CJ's going to be your starting guy in the corner. And if they need him at safety, if they want 3 safeties on the field with Tracy Walker and Kirby Joseph, he can play that too. I'd like to think of him as a Swiss Army knife DB. And let me just add this, that Brad Holmes, since he brought in another game changer to the DB room, he can pretty much do anything he wants in the draft, and that's a good thing. He literally could take anybody, and I wouldn't care at this point. The Lions' rebuild is over. They're in their player acquisition phase, and they are ready to win. But before I go any further, you guys know what time of year it is. That means the NFL draft is fast approaching, so I'm setting this goal for all of you. Help me reach 2,000 subscribers, and I'll be doing an NFL draft watch party. It's free, and we can hang out and have fun together. But going back to Brad Holmes for a second, I think it is time, honestly, for them to put a statue of him in front of the city. What he has done, I think he is the most competent GM the Detroit Lions have ever had. Not only that, the way he works with Dan Campbell and just his overall love for the game and his players that he acquiesces, it's just unbelievably admiring. And somehow getting Charles Harris and Romeo Quora, who took a $9 million pay cut to stay with the team, is just insane. When you look at what he took over 3 years ago and the cap hell that they were in, a lot of these signings that he's doing today, they're short-term and affordable deals, with most guys having a voidable contract after year 2. Last thing I'll say about this guy, he's a villain and he's bringing this city a winner. And he's only going to further prove that in this year's draft. And in my personal opinion, I think it's still got to be defensive tackle. The run defense was absolutely atrocious last year. Whether they trade up to draft Will Anderson at number 3 or stay put to get Jalen Carter or Kalijah Cansey, those would be my top 3 targets. I'm really glad I'm not in his position, man, because who knows what they'll do at this point. But looking how they finished with an 8-2 record last season, dominating over Green Bay in a fashion finish at the end of the season, the player they're going to get is automatically going to be a game wrecker for an already game-wrecking team. They were a top 5 team in the last 6 weeks of the season. And you know, there was this unspoken trend that the Lions were seemingly having, wanting high-character guys, and I really feel like that's still kind of a thing and why they might be hesitant on Jalen Carter. If you look at a lot of these players that they have on their team now are young. Some of them were high school captains, college captains, but I really think the buck stops with that trend because they brought in CJ for a reason. He's a good player. He's known to get physical and get a lot of penalties, but as Dan Campbell believes, getting penalties and overplaying, overextending is a good thing rather than missed assignments, which a lot of the cornerback room had and a lot of the defense had last season. So while I think the argument against Jalen Carter has some merit, I don't think they'll be afraid to take him. And look, guys, I don't know maybe what the dark ages of losing was like for the Lions. I was pretty young when the 2008 season happened. I don't really know what really bad losing is like, but to see what the Lions are going through, I have never seen any kind of winning like this before. Free agency, the draft, the season, the first winning season since 2017, albeit 9-8, still pretty good. I can't express to you in these videos enough how excited and enthusiastic I am for this season and why I just love to keep doing this because of this team. But anyways, guys, I hope you did enjoy as always, and let me know your thoughts down below. I read and try to respond to each and every single one of you, but I'll see you guys next time. Peace.